Welcome to Falls Count Anywhere, where the wrestling ring meets the heart. Hosted by the gentleman Jody Powell, join us as we dive into the latest pro wrestling news and rumors, from the electrifying world of WWE to the inspiring stories of wrestling for Christ. This is your all-access pass to the action, the faith, and the hope. This is Falls Count Anywhere.
Hello, wrestling fans! Welcome to Falls Count Anywhere. I'm your host, the gentleman Jody Powell. With me, as always, is the mad scientist, Mike Buchanan. Still closing the lab, though, for the holidays.
As we're taping this, it's before New Year's, so.
That's fair, man. I mean, I do think, though, there are things that I need to test out from the lab.
Send me a text and I'll start working on them after the first of the year.
I've got a list, so coming up next Monday night, the lab's back in business, and we're gonna get some things solved. Speaking of solving things, Mike,
sir.
Let's talk about Raw from last week. In anticipation of Raw tonight, the very first year anniversary of the Netflix debacle for WWE. And what a debacle it has been for WWE on Netflix. I mean, I don't think there's three ways about it. Raw just feels incredibly different on Netflix, and not in a good way. It's very cringe. The timing is very off. It feels like we're getting repeats, and I don't know if it's a Netflix issue or if it's a booking issue or if it's a combination of the two, but it just, this experiment has not gone well from a fan perspective, in my opinion.
You know, I just had a thought. First of all, it's probably the first thought I've had in 3 or 4 months, but be that as it may. You know what it reminds me of?
What's that?
Remember when WCW was getting ready to fix and be bought out by Time Warner?
Mm-hmm.
And the booking went to crap? And now we have Netflix that stepped in with WWE, and the booking on Raw is going to crap?
Well, and that's a good point, because not only Netflix, but this TKO deal. I mean, and you got people that are involved in making decisions about a company that they own when they have absolutely no idea how the industry works. And if TKO and Netflix is dabbling in pulling the strings of Triple Paul, then maybe that explains why we've got some of the things that we've got, like what we had last Monday night on Raw. Let's talk about this, because, it opened up with the Vision, opened up with CM Punk coming out, interrupting Austin Theory, who apparently had a lot to say but didn't get a chance to say any of it, which is a little disappointing, because if he was the man in the mask and now he's part of the Vision, I would have liked to have heard a little more about what Austin Theory really wants in terms of being part of the Vision. I'm still not sold on these 4 individuals being a collective group. It's growing on me a little bit. I can now see a need for Paul Heyman, whereas when Seth was involved, I didn't. I still contend Austin Theory is a double agent. I think he is in there under the direction of Mr. Seth Rollins, and I think that'll be something to look for on down the line. Be that as it may, CM Punk comes out, wants to go head-to-head, one-on-one with Braun Breaker in a battle of words, and we were talking before we came on the air, Mike. I don't like this feeling that I get from CM Punk lately when he is going face-to-face with someone in a promo, like they're supposed to live up to Mr. Pipe Bomb. He is great on the mic. He is Mr. Pipe. He's witty. He's cuts a great promo. Makes a lot of sense. But I don't like the character playing the role of good promo guy and expecting people. In fact, I think Punk even said, "Let's see what you got, kid." It's blurring lines. It's blurring. I don't like it. I don't need that from Punk. We know you're good. Just shut up and do your promo. Shut up and go do the back and forth. And I thought they had a great promo. I thought both of them held their own. I thought Braun Breaker held his own with CM Punk in that promo. It's kind of got me excited about what's going to happen later tonight on Raw with that match. Speaking of that match, Mikey, who do you got, man? You got Punk or you got Breaker?
I want Breaker to win Fiend so bad. So bad. But I'm afraid what they're going to do, and it may be setting up Money in the Bank for Braun later down the year. I think what they're going to do is because Austin Theory got his feelings hurt, although he didn't show it yet, whenever Punk came down and interrupted his soliloquy, I think Theory's going to end up costing Braun the match.
That could initially kick off some problems with a newly formed Vision. That's for sure. My heart says Braun. My head says no. They're going to leave it on Punk. Braun may get his shot come WrestleMania. I see a scenario where Braun Breaker could very well win the Royal Rumble and call his shot at WrestleMania and win.
Maybe that's what they're building up to.
Could be. It's happened before. I mean, we saw Seth and CM Punk at WrestleMania, and Roman Reigns as well in that triple threat match. But initially, I think it was Seth and CM Punk until Roman weaseled his way in, and that was the first main event of the first night on Netflix. So it's not unheard of to have the first of the year kick off with a main event on Netflix that actually features the guys that are main eventing WrestleMania. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see how that goes. But a couple of other things happen on Raw that I want to get to. Certainly, I thought we were going to walk away with a new women's champion. I didn't really care if we did. I thought we were, because the Stephanie Vaquer experiment, I don't think that's going very well. The problem was she was taking on Nikki Bella and Raquel Rodriguez, which I don't think either one of those would have been better choices. It just goes to show once again that this women's division they are focusing all of their stars in the tag team division. I don't understand it. I don't understand why later tonight we have the Kabuki Warriors taking on Rio. Okay, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. Yeah, it's Rio. Yeah. That's what I'm calling it. All right, it's either that or REO Speedwagon. But listen. Let's just have this match. Let the Kabuki Warriors retain. Split up this tag team of Rhea and Io. I need those two in the singles division. I need Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair in the singles division. I don't need these. If you want to put tag teams together, find somebody to tag with Ivy Nile and let them go after the Kabuki. That would be semi-entertaining. That's fine. Why are we focusing on the World Tag Team titles?
Why are we talking about women's wrestling?
That's another great question, man. I don't know. It was part of Raw, and either way, Steffi wins her match. Good for her.
So was a title change that you and I do not agree with between AJ Styles and Dragon Lee.
Hey, that's a great tag team name, the AJ Elite. Yeah.
Versus the Soso brothers, and the Soso brothers managing to pull it out.
I'm okay with it, Mikey. I told you, I am okay with the Usos being the World Tag Team Champions for the 9th time, and because number one, I think the Usos are better as a tag team than they are individually. From both a promo perspective, from an in-ring perspective, from a chemistry perspective, from an excitement perspective in terms of their matches, you get doses of each. I'm okay with it. It also means that we don't have to see them in singles competition vying for titles that they don't have any business having. I don't think it's very long in the tooth in terms of them being being teamed. I see a Jey Uso heel turn coming at some point, but at least for now, we've placated them with the tag team title. And look, AJ and Dragon Lee, they needed to drop those titles. They needed to, because I think we're going on the AJ Styles retirement tour, right?
Right.
So he can't drag Dragon Lee on.
I'm not denying we needed to change, but you're trying to build up the Vision as a dominant force on that brand. Have them drop it to, say, a newly formed tag team of Logan Paul and Theory, or Logan Paul and Bill Bronson Reed. But the Soso brothers, chemistry's nice, pal, But potassium chloride works as chemistry too. I just do not advise using it for personal use.
Oh, it's true. That's very true. And I do see a situation where the Usos and the Vision, or members of the Vision, will clash for that title. I want to be careful with the Vision, and I saw this online too, that people were saying, let's put belts on these guys. Listen, we did that with the Judgment Day. It didn't work. It didn't work.
Yeah, but here's the thing, and I want to be careful, very careful how I say this. The Vision, even now, is so far above the Judgment Day that it's ridiculous.
Oh, agree 100%.
But as far as the belts go, I can give you 4 reasons why you put all the belts in one stable. Woo!
It's worked before. It can work, and I think you're right. I think the Vision has elevated themselves well beyond what the Judgment Day has ever been, with the exception of Dominic Mysterio.
I knew you were going to say
that. I know. But
oh,
yeah,
for you. Are you sitting down?
I'm sitting down.
You know what I would rather see?
What's that?
Swap out Logan Paul for Dirty Rey Mysterio Senior Guerrero, or whoever it is.
Do you mean Dom or Ray?
Dirty Dom Guerrero.
Yes, I would agree with that. I'm not a Logan Paul fan. I don't like he's like, you're looking at these 4 and it's like, which one doesn't belong, right? I mean, he's trying too hard to be part of the group, and he just doesn't belong there. But that's, whatever.
Do you want to do any more predictions before?
Let's talk Intercontinental Championship match. Becky Lynch, Maxine Dupree.
I want Max to win. I like Becky. I like her character. She's Scottish, and so I have no problem with a Scottish woman winning the belt. But it's time for a bit of a change.
Agree. Here's the problem. Here's where I think the rub comes. The rub comes in where if Becky loses this match, okay, she will have lost for the 3rd time to a pretty much rookie. And how much will that just kind of destroy the character of Becky Lynch, of the man? I don't know. I wonder if there is an opportunity here to insert someone else into this mix. That and it may be AJ Lee that makes an appearance that costs Becky the match. But it can't be clean. I mean, we got the clean tap out 2 weeks ago on Raw, and not in a match, but she made her tap out, and that's fine. It built that character without making, without really kind of destroying Becky's. So I'm looking for a schnoz ending, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
Where Maxine will retain, but also doesn't make Becky look weak. And then we've got we talked about the Braun CM Punk match, and then the women's tag team titles. Who you got?
Who's the Kabuki Warriors are fighting? Who?
Rio.
I just don't like Ri. I don't mind Io. I don't like Ripley. I'm going to say the Kabuki Warriors just for that reason.
I think they retain as well, but you don't like Ripley?
No.
Mikey. We're going to find out more about that next week, because coming up after the break, fans, we want to get you caught up on EPW Battleground that is right here on Abundant TV every Saturday night. Let's talk about what happened last Saturday night. The first night of Steel Salvation. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back, fans, to Falls Count Anywhere. And I don't know what you were doing last Saturday night, but if you were not watching EPW Battleground, you missed night one of Steel Salvation, all matches inside a steel cage. And that included, Mikey, that first match, a women's match inside the steel cage. The first one ever in the history of EPW, Amber Lynn taking on Zarina. And, I really thought Amber Lynn was going to make history here and be the first woman to win a steel cage match. She has been there from the beginning, and basically having a part in starting this division. But it was Serena walking out with the victory there. She had this Cobra Clutch front face slam that looked vicious, and I missed what it was actually called. And I know our good friends there that were announcing there said what the move was, but I couldn't quite pick up what it was. But it looked nasty, and Zarina gets the win there in the cage. Some female action in the cage, not to be outdone though by the men. However, the next match was the payoff match. Aiden the Dragon, having gone through the prophecy, having to fight every member of the prophecy to get his hands on Johnny Lawless, the leader. The Angel of Death, as he is called. He finally got his hands on him in a weapons match, Mikey. This one had everything from cookie sheets to samurai swords in the ring. And everything in between. And in the very end, you know what? The waiting paid off for Aiden the Dragon as he gets the win with that vicious-looking Dragon Driver. These guys fought all over the cage, slamming each other in the cage, hitting each other with cookie sheets and kendo sticks and everything in between. It was one incredible match. Aiden the Dragon picking up the win. And then the Texas Championship match, the main event, also in the cage, but a Falls Count Anywhere event. That's the kind we like on this show.
Yep.
Kurt Castle, the Texas champion, taking on the challenger. Langley finally getting his shot at the Texas title. And after a brutal battle all over the Lordatorium there, it was a new Texas champion as Langley able to defeat Kurt Castle in an incredible match. And beat him with the crossface. Not in the ring, but on the floor. Tapped him on the floor. That's the way you win something. EPW Battleground, Saturday night. Hey, it's night 2 of Steel Salvation this Saturday night. You need to check it out.
Are we going to get any royalties from them using the name of our show for the name of a match?
You know, that's a fair question. I personally am going to allow Mr. Kyle, permission to use the trademark Falls Count Anywhere. It's not trademark. I just appreciate the free plug. Yeah. I mean, we've got you got idiots on WWE calling it Miracle on 34th Street Brawl, street fights, which is basically a Falls Count. How about giving our show a shout out, WWE, like EPW did?
Hey, how about shouting out for what EPW did with that recent toy drive there?
Hey, listen, that was very cool. EPW involved in the community there in Rockwell, Texas. Toys for Tots. First of all, I got the numbers from Mr. Kyle. And, I got to say what that county did for Toys for Tots was absolutely incredible. I'm going to pull up the numbers here. And in Rockwell County, right there, 16,000 toys were distributed. 16,000 in one county. That's impressive. $27,000 in gift cards for teenagers who didn't ask for toys. 1,670 children helping over 600 families have a Christmas. Kudos to Toys for Tots in Rockwell, but kudos to our friends down at EPW. They filled up 9 boxes, 684 toys for Toys for Tots from Ephesians Pro Wrestling. Big shout out to them for their involvement in helping someone have just a little bit of a happier holiday who is less fortunate than we are. So congratulations, EPW Battleground, Saturday nights, 6 p.m. right here on Abundant TV. Fans, stay tuned as we come back. It's our favorite part of the show, Finding Tomorrow. We'll be right back. Hello, wrestling fans. The Gentleman Jody Powell here. Are you searching for an engaging speaker for your next church event, civic meeting, industry conference, or a company-wide motivational session? Well, look no further. I'd be honored to bring energy, insight, and inspiration to your event. With experience as a 2022 Toastmasters World Championship of Public Speaking semifinalist, I know how to connect with audiences, both large and small. Whether it's an intimate gathering or a packed auditorium, I'll deliver a memorable and impactful message tailored to your needs. Visit today at www.jodypowellspeaks.com to explore my keynotes, talks, and trainings. Let's make your next event unforgettable. Book me today. You'll be glad you did. Fans, don't forget to check out the new show on Abundant TV, Men Like Us. Just guys sitting around candidly discussing the pressures and expectations that men face on a daily basis. Watch it now on demand on Abundant TV.
Hi, I'm Chris Whaley, author, former professional wrestler, pastor, and I'm joined by my co-host.
I'm Jeff Dixon. I am a pastor, I'm a speaker, I'm an author as well. But we have something else we do together.
Yes, we have a great program called The Clash.
Clash?
And it comes on every Monday night at 7:30 on Abundant TV.
Well, I want to watch it, and we'd love for you to watch it too. So if you wouldn't mind, join us on Monday night, and we'll see you at The Clash.
At The Clash, and it's always a battle, so come join us.
Welcome back, viewers. And Jody, one of us should have said this earlier. Happy New Year to our viewers, as this is being taped before but airing after January 1, 2026. Speaking of, before we get into a more serious matter, I did get a text from our friend Boudreaux.
Boudreaux, how are you doing?
He's doing good. He wanted to wish all his fans out there in TV land a Happy New Year, and he wanted to let them know that his New Year's revolution was to spin until he was dizzy. It's Boudreaux. It's my source.
If you haven't hung out with Boudreaux, you haven't experienced life.
That's fact. Okay. I don't know how I'm going to turn from that to this, but... So, New Year's. It's a time for resolutions. And I don't make them. Because I don't keep them. Just being honest. Now, that being said, statistics tell us that the vast majority of people that do make resolutions don't keep them either. But Jody, it reminded me of the Bible and the Old Testament. Because, first of all, God started back in Genesis by only giving us one commandment. Just one. Don't eat fruit.
Don't eat the fruit from the tree.
That didn't work. So you flood the earth, you put your people in Egypt for 400 years, and you bring them out, and you try it one more time. That doesn't work either. So the Israelis had to come, or not the Israelis, the Lord came up with the Day of Atonement. And on that day was when sacrifices were made for the sins of the people to hopefully reconnect them with their Heavenly Father, with their God. And it kind of made me think. We were talking before we came back, and there was a verse in Isaiah, I think it was, that we were talking about.
Yep. Yeah, you want me to read that for you?
Yes, please.
Yep, it is Isaiah 64:6 says, "But we are all like an unclean thing, and all our righteousnesses are like filthy rags. We all fade as a leaf, and our iniquities, like the wind, have taken us away."
Thank you. So real quick, now I want to get your thoughts on it, Jody, but the reason that I brought that verse up and this whole line of thought up for our viewers is, we're talking about hope for tomorrow, right?
Mm-hmm.
And until Jesus came, there was no hope for tomorrow for anybody.
Right.
Which meant that humanity had to try and work their way into heaven, which was never going to work. It's kind of like our resolutions that we don't keep. They're not going to do what we want them to. 3 or 4 years ago, I made a resolution to go to the gym every day. I was in there for 3 or 4 weeks, listening to music, never got any build up, and I don't know why. But anyway. So Jody, what are your thoughts?
Well, I love the comparison here because, I've been guilty of setting New Year's resolutions and not keeping them. Most of the ones that I've set were certainly geared toward trying to self-improve, to make myself better, right? And that's sometimes I think the philosophy that we have in terms of our relationship with the Lord is like, I need to be a better Christian. I need to do better. I need to do better things. I need to, repent more or fall into better obedience or whatever it is, because we've got it in our heads that this idea of doing something is somehow gonna bring us into more favor. Or it's gonna retain the salvation that we have through Jesus Christ, and that's just simply not the case. Now, that's not to say that we shouldn't repent. That's not to say that we shouldn't try to improve the relationship, our walk, all of those things. We should absolutely be moving forward in our relationship with Jesus Christ, becoming more personally invested in spreading the gospel and doing those things. But those things that we do for the kingdom, while they are so important for us and for the people around us, for sharpening our iron, so to speak, those things don't save. And I keep kind of coming back to this, Mike. Just like the resolutions fade, so sometimes does our fire for the Lord.
Oh yeah, unfortunately.
It does. And listen, I call it religious burnout. And it's not like we get burned out on Jesus. It's not like we get burned out, but we get burned out on the rituals or the things that people tell us we need. We get burned out on the people. Sometimes we get burned out on the fact that we keep praying for things that never happen, not realizing that God may have already answered our prayer by not answering our prayer. And so when we set out with an agenda, when we set out with these things that I want to accomplish, we've already failed because we're not vetting that list with the things that God would want us to accomplish. Therefore, those resolutions, while they may, like you said, man, go to the gym for a couple of weeks. Listen, you know the Duchess. You know my wife. She's had me at the gym for 5 years, 4 nights a week, pretty consistently over those 5 years. She is committed. We see it every year, New Year's. I mean, just the vast number of new people that come into the gym. Come February, it's the same people that we see the rest of the 11 months. And, it just is, it's in our nature not to continue to have this fire and this desire and these things to keep these things moving for the most part, and that's why we need a relationship with Jesus Christ. That's why the Bible says in that verse that our righteousness is like a filthy rag, because it's not good if we inherently are not good.
And that's the hope for tomorrow, folks. As we start a new year, we want to change in different ways, but there's one thing that never changes. And that's the light of Jesus. And that's where your only hope is ever going to come from. If you want to make a resolution, just my opinion, make a resolution to be in church more. Make a resolution to be in the Bible more. And then find somebody to do it with you.
Yeah.
It's always easier when there's two.
Yeah.
So again, Happy New Year from Bud Rowe, Jody, and myself. And remember, don't watch out. Look up for the clash coming up next with Jeff Dixon and
Chris Whaley, right here on Abundant TV. That's tag team, brother. That is a tag team. That is perfect. Happy New Year, everybody. We'll see you next week. Fans, don't forget to check out the new show on Abundant TV, Men Like Us. Just guys sitting around candidly discussing the pressures and expectations that men face on a daily basis. Watch it now on demand on Abundant TV.